All right, hello everyone. So everyone come forward. I will only give this talk once today. And I hope you enjoy it because I won't be so brief as the previous one. And instead, I would like to invite you to a journey. Not just technology, but I would also like to the journey of the evolution of Blastronaut. So how this little indie game, mostly my pet project, has evolved, and some design goals, how design actually has improved, and I have some marketing things inside as well. So I hope it will be interesting for all of you. So I hope many of you know about Blastronaut, but if you don't, then you will learn about it right now. Yeah, so about me. I'm a teacher in the University of Tartu here, teaching game development and computer graphics. But I'm also an indie game developer, so these two things kind of balance things out. So I can, the things that I'm doing, I can also teach to the students. But that's not what I want to talk about today. I've been developing games as long as I remember. Starting from Game Maker, then integrating to XNA and later monogame. And after that, I started using like proper game engines, Unity, and mostly Unity, a little bit Unreal as well. And yeah, this is what I've been teaching. I think I'm pretty good at Unity. But now, after developing Unity primarily for quite a long time, I found out that it was getting quite. In Unity, it was sometimes quite, when you're working on a bigger game, you will add more complex things. You make a lot of like complex architecture in Unity. And if you want to make a game that like stand out, that you can make like months and months, that at some point it gets like really, really complex mess and it's hard to maintain. And that's one of the big problems that I have with my projects, that they get technically more and more complex as I invent more complex architecture, put pieces together. And while I was working on a very complex last project I had, usually I was really low on motivation. It didn't like progress so well as I wanted. And then I was starting looking towards Godot engine. There's a new open source engine. Is it worth it to learn a completely new engine while you already know another engine so well? It was free, so it was so that was big plus compared to Unity, for example. So my question here was, do I try it? Because if I can migrate now, I don't spend more time and effort invest more into Unity ecosystem. So at that point, I gave it a try. Let's make a short game. I had a game idea for a long time, inspired from Terraria and Motherload, but also another game that I can't pronounce because the name is a little bit strange. But it was had a very similar game loop about mining resources, selling them, and it was just great. This other game was a little game jam prototype, and I could just play it for hours. So I knew that it will work, and I wanted to play it more, but there wasn't anything like that. So I decided to make my own game. And at that point, just give it a try for the Godot. So I started out, and within one day, I had a character moving in a procedurally generated world. And it was great. It was fun to work with Godot. It was like really like coming from complex architecture side and just making like new game mechanics in a language that is like super simple. I just had a like really good time doing it. And I actually, I also got inspiration from an art pack that I saw. It was in the summer of 2020 when I started. There was just a Black Lives Matter like bundle with some graphics. So I got this graphics pack. I really liked the way that the style were made, so I decided to use it. And let's make a game like within like 2 weeks or so, and make a really small little game. What can go wrong? So days went by, I added some mechanics, some shooting, and yeah, explosions. That was the moment that I knew that everything has to explode because it's just fun. And yeah, of course, by working, by being like artist also myself, it was like really eating me from inside to actually use another art pack. So quite quickly I decided that I have to make my own. So I made my own graphics for it. I think it looks quite nice. Integrated it and yeah. So I had quite so the weapon pretty much just came by itself. So initially I saw that there was like bounce method in some reflect. So I used this and saw that it would be really nice to have some goo that you can splatter around. So that was the first weapon and the first prototype. Then I wanted to get towards this goal of collecting resources, selling them. So I added different resources. The lower you go, the other different and more expensive resources will come up. And then I needed some places to sell and trade those resources for money to upgrade and have this complete cycle. So I made some platform concept. And this is where the trading and refueling came from. So you collect the resources, go back up and sell them to upgrade things. And here I got my second design goal, design pillar for this game, was to have no pop-up menus in the entire game. So I had just played for inspiration some No Man's Sky, where you spend half of your time in some UIs on some menus instead of playing the game. So nope. Also Terraria, you have to like just have this overlay screen and move things around there. And yeah, no, not Minecraft either. So in this way I try to invent something new. And I think this resources trading was working quite nice. You can hold down the button to just trade more. And yeah, it was natural. People could use it. I added a tutorial and some pickups and equipment that you can upgrade. And yeah, I personally thought that it was fine, but something was missing because when I showed it to players, they picked it up, played it like 2 minutes and then put it down, didn't continue. So something was missing in this prototype. And yeah, I was thinking that, well, in Terraria, you pretty much also have a very similar setup. You can just mine and you will explore yourself, but players really didn't. So the thing that was missing was directions. People didn't know what to do. So as soon as I added some tasks for the players to see and complete, instantly when players tried it again, the same players who put it down beforehand now could play it like half an hour straight. So it was working and I was happy. So that was when I released my first demo in itch.io. It's still up there. You can still try this very first demo, and it still to this day it gets some really positive 10 out of 10 comments. So it's doing well. That was also the first time I participated in the Steam festival with the same demo. But because the new school semester was started, I didn't have much time to actually participate myself in this festival. So I didn't do any live streams, and that was probably a mistake. But since the launch of the page, I doubled my wish list. So I got 200 new wish lists, which by the number is not really good, but by doubling my existing ones, but it's quite nice. But yeah, I probably should have streamed more in there, but still a nice boost. You can participate in a festival or the next festival once a year. All right, so that was the point where I had to decide what should I do. I wanted to initially like release it really quickly. I had this playable game, just release it and get it out for a couple of euros. So the result was that everyone liked the game. It was really satisfying and addictive. Some people like could play it for hours. I don't know how, but they did. It didn't have any save system or anything. And at the same time, the demo length was quite good. For some players, it could be half an hour, but like the median time was 15 minutes. On the contrary, or the con was that there was not enough content. So a lot of people were complaining that it was not ready for release yet. They wanted some enemies to fight with. They wanted more upgrades, more things to do. And I agreed with them. So it wasn't ready. Also, I personally thought that the environment, while it was like awesome at one place, it was still a little bit boring. And also the lack of multiplayer. A lot of people wanted some multiplayer. So, but obviously what I did, I increased my goal. So I decided to add or try to add multiplayer. For that, I found a team of university students. We have a software project course in University of Tartu where students can develop some parts. And there was a team who wanted to try to make a multiplayer integration for Blastronaut, a team of 4 students. I also got some other students interested in writing their thesis. One wanted to make enemies for the game, and another one for improving the word generation, which exactly corresponded to my previous lackings. And I personally started tackling on the first issue, which was to actually adding more content to the game, because the current system was kind of fixed. It wasn't easy to add like more stuff underneath the ground. There was like a list of if statements to add different types of blocks right now, in different heights. Now I needed to make this all kind of like procedural. So I spent like at least the same amount of time, several months, to actually now re-implement everything, to use some data-based like system where everything is defined by data. At the same time, I also wanted to improve the look. I had this original like very gray thing, and I wanted to make it more colorful. So I made some new concepts. And while doing it, I decided also to add some environmental like message to the game, so that even though this was my original game, I actually wanted to go backwards. So in the game, you are the guy who was actually destroying this beautiful world and making it all smoky and industrial. So yeah, that was like the bigger picture. On the spring 2020, a game called Valheim came out. I think you should know this game. And Valheim did something really, really great, because it sold 5 million copies in the first month. So something was really well done. So I didn't play it much, but I analyzed it. What's so great about this game with a friend? And the things that I pointed out, some of the things that I catched was, first of all, it had very colorful, good-looking visuals, simple but great. It also, for me, the biomes were really unique. Every time you progress into the next biome, it's completely different. It's interesting to explore, because there is not just the colors are different, but things are different in this biome. So biomes play a big role. It also has very dangerous enemies. So you have some obstacles to overcome. And it had a good pricing point. So 16 euros, a lot of people purchased it for this price point. And while I was already refactoring the word generation and system, I decided to concentrate on these unique biomes first. So now that I had remade everything, I was able to make some jungles, ancient biomes, and crimsons. Mechanically, not yet very different, but the goal was to actually add some unique dangers in every biomes. The initial storefront was also quite superb, and the most important thing that you can do for your storefront, besides the trailer, is to actually get an artist and make a good like hero art. So all the capsules and banners to catch the eye. This is like the best investment that you can do. Don't make a pixel art one that I have like here, or screenshot of a game. And I had very good concept artist, Raido, who made a concept for this one. And this hero art also went through multiple iterations. This is the first one. This is the second one. And then something else had to change. Can you spot the difference? Yeah, yeah. It's a little bit bigger, but I changed the gun, so it's not so combaty as well. Or it doesn't look so militaristic. Also, I used the Affinity Designer. It's a really great tool for indie developers because it's one-time purchase. And yeah, it's just for every kind of UI work and sites. And you can like just define a lot of slices, export them all at once. And yeah, I recommend this. All right, so at that time, also the thesis started to appearing. So Eric made some enemy movements, some lake climbing, enemies, alien climbing on the walls and ceilings. And Silver made template-based locations, so to add some unique handmade locations to the procedurally generated world, which to add some life to it there. So this is how it works. So the world is made out of different size of chunks, or chunks and master chunks. And the player, there is an editor for that, where the developers or also the players can make their own layouts that will blend inside the game world, as you can see here. And yeah, I was just one by one integrating all of those things to use this editor and this database system, including the tutorial that was previously just built in the game engine. And yeah. All right, then the summer came, and my goal was to still release it as soon as possible, improve the game, and fix the multiplayer because, yeah, they need to be getting working with all the new systems. I decided to add some ambient lighting, so to not have so dark it anymore. And some dynamic lights as well that people really love. So the way how it works, it's pretty much it's just a simple outline shader. So if you take a pixel and sample the surrounding pixels, so if the pixel itself is like solid block and the surrounding pixel is an empty block, then this should be an outline. And to do this kind of cool light like effects, you can just simulate the diffuse in 2D worlds by first of all calculating the normal of the surface by just taking the left minus right and top minus bottom, so you get like -1 to 1 range there, and then take the dot product between the normal and the light direction to the light, and you get a nice lighting. Really simple. For the multiplayer, I developed some cool Godot plugins that are just allowed to just press one button and run like multiple instances simultaneously. It's also freely available in the Godot library. You can get it from there. And yeah, compared to like Unity, where you have to like export the game every time and retrace it, it was just simplifying the process so very much. I was also working on building. This is a very early way where you can do things like this. And yeah, added some cool other shaders there to really beef it up. On the July of 2021, like in the same summer, there was also GodotCon. The great thing about Godot is because it's a small indie-like engine, you can actually participate in things like their own like their own conference and actually give a talk there. So yeah, I was really present. I gave this talk, and one thing is a talk to this small community. Another thing is to read a chat at the same time and see how just people are loving it and saying that they would like, where can they throw money? So yeah, it was really inspiring and also provided little bump to the impression and wishlist graph as well. I think around 50 wishlists from there. All right, so in the next autumn, so next school, this school year, I had some more crazy ideas. I wanted to try out this Discord-based metagame. So to grow the community. So let's see how this works out. And I also asked 4 students to help me out. One student working on the water simulation, one student working on the Twitch integration, also modding support, and marketing tools. And the marketing tools was Katre, who just gave the presentation beforehand. So I got some great help, and modding was made by Thomas, who was also here. So I was continuing by making everything really configurable, so weapons and explosions and everything could be made inside the editor. And I also got into the Godot Showreel. So that was seen by 70,000 people. And when you develop game in Godot, you can just submit there and get your game in out of many eyes. And this also gave quite some wish lists. Now, the Discord metagame was the first thing that was finishing. The idea was that while you in the game, as a Blastronaut, you will be sent by a big corporation to exploit this alien planet. There will be also the headquarters of the company. And the headquarters will be managed by the Discord server. So all the people in the Discords can vote about some big projects that the players can do in the game. And I developed some cool graphics for the bots as well. And inside the game, players could actually like donate resources to different companies, get some rewards for that, but also help those different teams forward. So quite cool concept. However, it turns out that maintaining such a metagame is just too much work for me, and I put it aside for now. So we did a test. It was so, but it still needs a lot of additional work later. But yeah, those space stations will get into the full game. So now we have got this to this spring. The main goal was to prepare the new demo. Let's see how it went. First of all, enemies. They were moving beforehand, but now I wanted to make all the enemies explosive. So that was the goal number 1. Everything in this game should explode. So that was working out quite nicely. There are 4 different attacking enemies and some harmless ones. And then I started working on a crafting system. I wanted to make this cell and improve loop a little bit more integrate, like Factorio or where you can actually make some, not just sell the ore, but make it into bars and use them differently. So now I wanted to make some furnaces working, but I came back to my second design goal, which was to have no pop-up menus. And this was actually quite a difficult task. So in all the games like Minecraft, you have those pop-up screens. How would you design actually like understandable menu system for a game like that? So I had a lot of different concepts that were quite silly. A lot of them didn't work out very well. So if you have like 3 buttons or like 3 different commands on the screen, it already was too confusing for the players to understand. So yeah, the initial idea was that you can somehow press some F to actually have some configuration menu. But yeah, you can see that these are really confusing. However, later I discovered the way, and actually it was quite simple. Whenever you get on top of the machine, it will automatically show the different tools or it will automatically open up this tool menu above that you can scroll through with your scroll wheel and use it to change the resources. And then just put in the resources as usual and take them out with F. And this system was actually simple enough that people actually really were able to use it just by intuition. So I'm quite happy about this design. But yeah, it took quite several iterations until I got here. Then in February, the next Steam Festival happened. This time, I was a little bit more clever. I actually did some work. I actually recorded some trailer video that I put into loop. You can write a script that just 24/7 shows your pre-recorded stream, and it's just free real estate in the festival. So use all the options. And also I participate on this real things as well. So as you can see from the graph, I doubled my wishlist again. So this time I got from 2,000 previous wishlists from 4,000 after the festival. So 10 times better than the last one. But also that the game was also improved, and it has this new demo. All right, but that wasn't all. The Steam Festival also triggered something else. It triggered some YouTubers who catched up my game. So first of all, there was the Wonderbots, also another indie YouTuber who made their first videos about the game, and these gave another bump after the festival. So 16,000, and then a little bit bigger YouTuber, Splattercat Gaming, got this out, and this video now has 72,000 views. So these YouTubers now caused this one. So you saw this earlier bump, and this was the new bump after the YouTubers actually got it up and boosted the wishlist count to 7,000. All right, so that's almost where we are now. So what's coming next? First of all, hazards. The biomes really still they need to be unique, and they already are. So some of the biomes have these dangerous poison clouds. Some of the biomes are really spiky, that you can't like really land anywhere. And yeah, some of them have more explosions for you to discover. Also, something was missing from the game. So I knew all the time that I needed those companies, and I had designed them, but I didn't know how to actually use them in the game. And the problem was that this game was supposed to be like a sandbox game where you can just go around wherever you want. And right now you had this one tutorial mission, and I didn't know how to make this sandboxy because still coming back to the mission sheet, it was really important to have like always something to do, some goals, but I didn't know. But then I talked with Ott. We had a development discussion, and he gave me a great advice: GTA 2. So GTA 2 made something really great that the previous GTA didn't. They had factions. Always where you play, you have like 3 different reputations, and those factions are fighting each other, and they create the whole metagame that somehow make this game shine. So that's actually where I want to push towards, and I can use a lot of concepts here, like adding those little missions that you can get from some places from the world, and pretty much now make it into a GTA 2 game. Also, Steam Workshop integration has arrived by Thomas. It's really cool. You can download the Owen Wilson WoW mod, and yeah, just open the game up, and there is a mods menu that opens directly the Steam one, Steam menu, and I think this really correlates really well with this fluid content. I have a lot of additional ideas. The main goal is actually to release it quite soon, sometimes at the end of this summer, and then continue adding more stuff because I have like ton of game things that I want to add there, like obviously little things like new biomes, but also like content like packages like flora, some human eating plants, and automated drones and production lines, and whatever I can do with these images here. I really want to expand and like gradually add make it into like this live game that's just progressing and is also like some ways as a game as a service. And the first update is already planned. This comes with the water that Arlo has made. It has a very nice fluid system. You can destroy the world and yeah, cover it in with some fluid. Needs a little bit work, but it will go. But it will give a nice boost to the first update after the early access release. Also, the Twitch integration is quite cool. You can control a little robot with Twitch commands and pretty much play the game through the Twitch chat this way. It has its own like systems for actually upgrading the robot and such. And we tried to, we also like tested it and streamed it as a separate like standalone game that the players can play. But in the future, this can become as some kind of a like companion bot that the streamer can play, and streamer can play their game, but the viewers can control this bot and help the streamer out. But this needs additional work, so not coming yet. So quickly, so I was starting by Godot, and I switched to Godot, and I really like it. So was it a good solution for me? For me, I think it was the right choice. So quick introduction. To sum it up, I will quick overview about why Godot was so good and allowed me to make this game for 2 years, and pretty much allows me to finish this game. First of all, it's super light and fast. It's like 36 megabytes download, 50 megabytes when you open it, and it just launches instantly. So you click it and it's open. There has been like YouTubers have made a game jam. I made a game in the time that takes Unity to set up on my PC. So at the same time that Unity installs, they made the Godot game. So also there is actually, my first fear was that it was actually maybe something that I was using in Unity was missing from Godot. But no, everything is there. There is even something that you would like to have in Unity, like platforms that you can just like colliders that you can toggle a checkbox and you can jump through them like from below, for example. And whatever is not there, there is a free asset library. And because it's free and it's like right inside the Godot, people are actually making things to this asset library. And I also added my little like multiplayer testing framework there. It's Godot development principle is that everything is a node. It can be, first of all, a little bit mind-blowing that in Unity you have like game objects, and then you have components, and then you have scenes and prefabs, but they're all nodes in Godot. And actually it makes it all much simpler. You don't have so many systems. You have to find one thing and get another thing out from it. So everything is a node. They have the nice sprites that show their type. And because everything is you can also, prefabs are the same things as a scenes, just a subtree. Everything just clicks together and like really motivates to make little building blocks. The code, the GDScript, before I started, I really hated Python. It's Python-like code, but now I love GDScript because it's just so short. So this code opens a file, reads its content, parses it into a JSON, and then prints out one value from it. So you can imagine how long the Unity comparison would be here. And everything has just simple function call to do in Godot that you typically need to Google for half an hour to do it in Unity. So it's like making tool scripts is just calling correct functions and such. It also has while the language is object-oriented. It's not object-oriented in the standard sense. You can't make any like you can make objects, but you can't make any like interfaces and abstract classes and all the crazy stuff. It's possible to adjust for the well-known like design patterns, but it's not like really relevant because in Godot you should use duck typing. Everything is a duck. So if it quacks like a duck, then just call the quack method and it goes. And it's super simple actually. So it makes it just takes off all the complex like design patterns that you would otherwise build. It's also actually also well documented. Some people have said that it's not, but it is. You can read the manual and learn game development. You can learn about it actually tells you about things like a book, like how would you actually Bezier curves are made and it follows you step by step. It tells you about regexes and everything. So it really has a really good documentation and also like API reference with examples and sites with both GDScript and C#. So yeah, it's great. Unity and Unreal documentations can't compete really. Also, the project somehow all the files they feel so open. You can actually read the asset files that are created for your objects. Like the scenes that you make in the editor, they all have like really understandable syntax. And if something like and it doesn't have any like secretive like files that you don't know how they work. You can actually, if some merge conflict happens, you can fix them right in the code editor. So and even like merge some scenes together in there. So I think it's like really good to know always what's going on in the background because it's somehow it's designed so well. It has a really supportive community. So besides that, you can just apply all those conferences that I got to and Showreels. It's Reddit is also people showing their first like look at I make my first game in ever and people like commenting like well done, so great work and it's just so cool to be this small community that just encourages everyone. So I just took one little post from today. Someone was working on a setting menu and people like really congratulating him and that's good to feel that. It has meaningful updates. The people who are developing Godot, they are actually like really into it and they are listening to community and trying to add features that actually make it more usable and do the things that people want. So every time you see some updates, they actually contain meaningful things for you to. And finally, it's free. So when you have worked with Unity, you know that this is somehow restrictive. Just the knowing that at some point you have to pay and calculate the costs might be something that you should consider Godot about. So that was all. I hope you learned something. I hope it was nice to be in this long journey with me. And try out Godot. It's great.